Definitely appreciate you staying with us here on The Pulse. And you know that we are live on our Facebook social media platforms as well. Also on myjoyonline.com, you can watch us live. But corruption cannot be completely stamped out. It can only be limited. That is an admission by speakers at an event to mark African Youth Day celebration in Accra. According to them, though the canker has in the past and is still robbing the country of millions of development money, the youth can commit to changing the narrative. Senior Civic Education Officer at the National Commission for Civic Education, Alexander Wususian, wants the youth to take the lead and resolve to expose any acts of corruption, whether they find themselves or wherever they find themselves. Well, Komla Adum has been speaking to some young people on their role in this fight.
The day to mark Africa Youth Day celebration here in Accra under the theme, the role of a youth in dealing or fighting against corruption. I've been joined by some young people, expectedly, who are part of the youth population of the country. We're going to be discussing or exploring ways young people can help in the fight against corruption. Let me ask you, have you ever in your life participated in any corrupt practice before?
Okay, from what we've learned so far from the program, I think yes. Yes, and my form of corruption was exams malpractice. Okay. Yes.
How long ago was this?
Oh, like some few months ago.
Okay.
Yes.
How about you?
I would say yes, because see, right from infancy, you see as kids, when you want to, when you are crying, your mom will be like, stop crying or else I won't buy toffee for you. It's also a form of corruption. So I think right from infancy, we started doing corruption.
Okay. How about you?
All right, mine goes deep down to the infant side. Taking a critical look at our infantry or our childhood. Our parents sometimes do send us to go and buy something, and then we begin like to frown. So when we frown, and it means that, okay, come for money and go and buy me this. Okay, so when you are coming, you take the change. So I think all these things promote corruption.
How about you, Esther?
Yeah, I think I also have the same problem with this corruption. Looking at the exam sector like this, sometimes you realize that maybe you write midterm or quiz, you do not perform, you'll be chasing the lecturer, which I say, please, extra marks. So you just be chasing the lecturer for extra marks, which I think is also part of corruption. Yeah.
4 years ago, I remember when I was trying to get my driver's license, I was told to pay 300 cedis. Even though I had passed the exam, I had passed the test and everything, I am happy to say that I didn't pay that money to the DVL officials. But going forward, how do you think young people like us can help fight corruption, especially as we've all mentioned that we have been participants at one stage or the other of our lives?
Okay, personally and also a personnel at the National Youth Authority, the authority tries to instill the spirit of patriotism. So I think if the youth are filled or are really encouraged to be patriotic, they will have the inner energy to oppose these forms of corruption. Yes.
All right, how about you?
I would say like how she was saying, like patriotism. That's it. If you we take it upon ourselves to do what is right, do right things and go according to what we are supposed to do, I think we can just kick out corruption from our system, not completely though.
Oh, all right. To me, what we used to promote the fight against corruption, I would say creating or the NYA agency coming together to create social media, something like Facebook, about fighting corruption. Again, we can also create others who are Twitter, WhatsApp, and so on and so forth. I think that one too will help to fight against corruption.
Especially because many young people are on social media these days. How about you? How do you expect us, or how do you think we can help deal with corruption at our level?
Well, I think we should get the young people jobs. You know, sometimes everybody wants to work, most people want to work under government sectors, whereby maybe I would say we are two in a group where we are all fighting for one position. So maybe the two people pass the other back, pay money and other stuff, which I cannot afford that money. So I'll lose out. So I think when there are other jobs outside the government sector where some of us too can be, I think it will help.
So some other forms of corrupt practices we know, as you mentioned, exam malpractice, we have these days a lot of cyber fraud. We have identity fraud where people use other people's identities to go and get documents for themselves. And as I mentioned, trying to get a DVLA driver's license, they'll ask you to pay monies and all. What are some of the other forms of corrupt practices you know about?
Okay, I know of extortion, I know of grants, nepotism, yes, and this petty forms of corruption in the workplace, administrative corruption, and then political.
Yeah, I also know of favoritism, like when you try to get jobs and if you don't know someone within that institution, they will not employ you. Then I also know of like be our friends. Sometimes when you are doing something, even in our homes, when we are doing things, we try to favor some people. Like because this person is very close to me, or let me do this special thing for this person. Yeah, so these are also.
Yeah, like sometimes tribalism. You are looking for a job, they might be like, which tribe are you or something like that. Just to favor, if you speak the same language with the person will be like, okay, maybe you're not even qualified, but because you speak the same dialect, the person just puts you in that position. And also discrimination. Okay, well, it's the same thing.
Well, one form of corruption that I know about is in the football circles, age cheating. So the footballers, when they are 30, they come and say, I'm 14. You know about it?
Yes. Okay, you hear of them in the news. Yes.
That, as for that one day, Africans, as for that one day, we can't do away with it. Because, see, when I was going to register, I think that was in 2006, when I was going to register for Coons football, my coach was like, if you go, say you were born in 2000, just imagine. So as for that one day, we can't do away with it because we have about, you will get about 40-year-old man and his football age is around 30. So as for that one day.
Is that not a reason why when we find the players play for some time, then they get weak and they get injuries a lot of times because then they cheated before they got there?
Yes, because they are not up to that age. Again, I would say, I will give a critical example that I was 117 when a man came to me that, oh, I should go and then register for voters ID, that I'm 18. So I should mention this kind of year. And I was like, oh, no, I can't do that. So it all came down to a whole lot of things, but still I just rejected it.
But you rejected it, but you know some people may have accepted because I'm sure the man would have paid them some money.
Yeah, sometimes it's true. What they said is true.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
let me. To touch on that same issue, I would say that when we are getting closer to election, you say that politicians will be bringing, okay, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. Some may even be sharing money to their constituencies so that they should be voted into power. And I think that one is also affecting the nation as well.
That's correct.
Yeah.
One point, I think touching on these political issues, sometimes we will be in an area, you will see that there is slums and other things on the street. They will not come and do anything about it. During election time, you see them, they will bring graders and things, then they will come and excavate the road, do everything nicely, then just for votes. I think that one is, we don't consider that one to be a form of corruption, but I think that's a huge form of corruption, because they will just come and do that, then they will leave it. Then, we will all go and vote. Because we've seen our minister trying to clear our road for us, give us a good construction, then we will just go out and pour our heart out for them, vote for them, then we're done. They will not come and do anything again.
Right, so let's move the conversation a notch higher. Let's talk about corruption in public offices. So people in governments, people in political authority and all of that perpetrating crimes, bribery and corrupt activities, which is leading to loss of funds for the states, funds that we can use to develop ourselves. You know about some of these corrupt practices that are in high public offices?
Yes. To talk about the recent one in our football sector. I don't know much about football anyway, but because it came in the news, it's sometimes when you hear of these things, it's disheartening. And I actually asked my friend that if you are in the public sector and then your boss is asking you to do something that you know that is not right to do, how do you deal with these things? And most of the times, I'm even scared to get into such situations. I don't want to experience, but you've been hearing lots of it. And these things are causing lots of financial loss to public sector institutions all over the place for young women to get even employed. you have to, your boss has to sleep with you. It's so disheartening that we should create an environment that is enabling for the youth to come out with some of these issues and speak out. So if your boss is asking you to do these things, where should you go? There should be institutions for us to be able to talk about these things. So I think when we are able to put out these structures and policies and the youth made aware of them, we will be able to fight these forms of corruption, and then we'll be saving the country lots of money.
Wonderful points you make. Now, you also want to make a point about the football situation and corruption.
Football situation, let's say, let's look at Kwesi Nyantetu, for instance. Here is a man, this was a man who, because of the powers invested in him, he was first, they were voting on vice president, football vice president. Then later on, the people, they gave him the power to appoint. So see, we have people who are there, like genuine people who are there, who would like to condemn what he was doing, but they were afraid. See, we have the recent vice president he fired. That's forgotten his name. But see, he George Free was talking against him. He was like.
Interesting discussion there with my colleague Komla Adom with some youth there on Africa Youth Day. We've been talking about the role that the youth can play in the area of corruption.